And now I have prepared a few hidden gems for you. As you can see here, please take a look at this, friends. It's getting serious. This is for everyone who is invested in altcoins. On one hand, I will provide you with proof that we are currently experiencing a very strong shift towards altcoin season. But on the other hand, you requested it in the videos and in the comments that you want to see more hidden gems presented, because right now could definitely be the last minute call to perhaps still place one or another position, as it will soon be too late, since then it will be more about realizing profits. We will get to that later. That's why let's dive right in. On our channel, you will find exciting new projects, news about the market situation, and fact-based analysis of scams. If you are interested in these topics, feel free to leave a free subscription. And if you want to protect yourself as much as possible, we have prepared a free 8-point checklist for you. To find out how to get it, check the description. And to start, let's take a quick look at the heat map. Here you can already see, very interesting, Bitcoin is slightly in the red after a significant correction yesterday, which is, by the way, completely normal and okay considering what has happened in the last weeks and months. If you take a look at the other large caps here, XRP is in the green, ADA is back in the green, Avalanche is back in the green, XLM, we also recently talked about whether it could be a competitor to XRP, for example. Very, very interesting what is happening with XLM. Feel free to click here. In any case, if you look at the entire shift, it is definitely moving somewhat towards the large caps. But what we are looking at are the small caps, because they can definitely provide much more profit. So you should always ask yourself when investing, what do you want to get out of it? So if you say that 2 to 3 times, be pretty cool, well, then Cardano, ADA, etc. can also be very interesting. Personally, I want to get the maximum out, where we might be talking about over 10, over 20, over 100 times. And it is indeed quite unlikely that this can happen with the coins depicted here. So let's take a look further. A quick glance at the Fear and Greed Index. Here too, one can see that the market is indeed cooler, which is a very good signal, because an overheated market is unhealthy, and based on what we've had in the last days and weeks, has been driven more or less to the peak. We were at a peak value of 94, of 75, a correction phase, completely okay. Also a good opportunity to place more positions to then re-enter in the next phase. And even if we take a look at the liquidation heat map here, folks, please keep everything in mind, but there is a lot of wood lying around down here, so a lot of liquidity has formed. Therefore, it is quite conceivable that this correction phase, which has currently affected the entire market, including outside of Bitcoin and crypto in general, that this liquidity down here may still be picked up and that we might also crash below the K mark. So, we have to see crashing sounds so crazy. But if you think about where we were a few weeks ago, a crash below 90K, oh, yes, but you know what I mean, there could still be a correction. However, the way up should definitely be paved. But currently, you can see the shift and the question arises, well, where should it go up from here? There is currently nothing. Caution is definitely present, especially when you take a quick look at the Bitcoin ETFs. If we look at the last 2 days, there have been 3-digit million-dollar amounts that have flowed out. So the institutional investors have also somewhat fallen back into a holding pattern. But before we get to the actual topic, the coin tips, a huge thank you once again. It is unbelievable how many new subscribers join the channel each day, how many likes, how many comments come in. Really cool. Even if you like this video, it would be super cool if you leave a comment around 10 words and give a like. That should really boost the algorithm. And I've just noticed that many of the viewers are still not subscribed. So if you don't count yourself among them yet, feel free to activate the bell so you don't miss any information and catch up on that. And now I have prepared a few hidden games for you. Yes, it's now a colorful mix, but my focus in my portfolio is very strongly on AI tokens, because I believe that will be the narrative that could really take off. On the other hand, I still hold some meme coins. One can say that there is currently a certain correction phase with the meme coins, a kind of twilight sleep, etc. available, which is why I consciously mix in meme coins here, because I personally believe that when we have this proper altcoin season, And oh, I forgot to mention another point to explain why I think we are just before the altcoin season. And you see this here, please take a look at this. Bitcoin season, altcoin season. We are now on the side of altcoin season. So that's a value. Wow, a lot has really happened down here. So we are still a long way from talking about a really intense altcoin season, but we are definitely at a level where it becomes attractive. So if we look at the other values, just a few days ago, we were somewhere around 30 on this side, and now here, good morning, but just a quick note on the side. In any case, I have now consciously decided to mix in a few meme coins here as well, because we are currently in a correction phase, and I can tell you I could have easily taken a 1, 4 to 5x with some. If you are interested in the topic of meme coins in more detail, feel free to write it in the comments. I would be happy to make a separate video on that, because no, I have also learned in the past weeks it is not just plain gambling. So there are certain indicators where one can say whether a meme coin makes sense or not. As a short example, I had not invested in Hobby till now, but I am considering it now. By the way, these numbers are completely normal for meme coins, which does not mean that they are dead. And if you take a look at the overall history here, there is already a foundation present also regarding the market cap. Why do I say that Hobby could be so interesting? Well, Hobby itself belongs to the Voice Club memes, meaning it is a series, if you will. For example, also Mathuri as a meme coin, which I am holding by the way, is currently very solid, showing about 25% profit for me, so nothing too surprising, but it was also over 100% profit for me before. And therefore there are already indicators where one can say that if one works, the other could also work, because, for example, here with Hopi, you see a front runner among the Boys Club memes, and that is indeed PP. And now it could, of course, be interesting. So Matt Fury mentioned only in passing. One could assume and say, okay, he is the creator behind it all. Then it could certainly take off again. Hobby has also been relatively big. If many now say about Pepe, yeah, okay, I won't exaggerate further. That thing is now pretty much exhausted. Then it could be that there is a reshuffling, and then something like Hopi could certainly come into focus. Now, just to clarify right away, we are also not paid by the projects, so that's a very clear message. Not that anyone thinks we have some meme coin hype again or something like that, no. So with a meme coin, I always give the tip, especially when you have the launched meme coins. Wait for the first rise, then the correction, and see if it comes back. And this has also been the case here, for example. So therefore, this can be interesting without investment advice, without anything, but that thing is currently holding up quite well. For those who want a bit more risk, we have another alternative here. We are clearly talking about a pre-sale. However, as we all know, when something performs really well, it can also go through the roof. So I can also give you the tip here. The socials are linked up top. Feel free to check them out. So you can clearly see here the project is still ultra young. Being ultra young actually carries the highest risk, but also the highest potential. So you can always question that. It really depends a lot, which is why I always give the tip to follow the social channels. Take a close look at what kind of memes they post, how they post them, how active the community is, which is definitely good for this stage, so that it's not somehow faked with millions of followers right from the start. And these are indicators that can help determine how the team works, how the team understands how to engage the community, create hype, etc. That is a very essential factor, so feel free to click through there, of course, also through the website itself. Take a detailed look at what's behind it, how everything is structured, and yes, there may well be significant potential in it, without giving any investment advice here again. So that is very, very important. Do your own research, engage with it yourself. Since we are currently on the topic of meme coins, and by the way, here's a question for the group. Are you also interested in how I personally, for example, generate passive income, whether through bots, staking, lending, whatever? So feel free to write about it in the comments. I can gladly make a separate video about it, because that is also possible. And here it is also possible. Yes, that is also possible. German language, difficult language. In any case, if you are looking at this here, I have just started the request and I am looking at what is happening right now. How is it all possible? How is it all working? So after there were initially large negative numbers like 67%, just to explain, this bot does not track meme coins but tracks wallets. And then you can basically copy the wallets or the traders behind them without them noticing at first. Even if you are interested in how to distinguish between good and bad wallets, how to find them out, etc., it is of course a bit of a gamble. And we can also do that separately in a video. In any case, if you look at it, it is already going in a better direction here, for example. Now 74% in profit, I also go in rather solidly, so with just under $10 per trade, and then you can draw a line under it and see, yes, okay, is something happening, is nothing happening. If you are interested in this bot in detail, take a look in the description. There is also the link to the website, then feel free to check it out. No, we are not being paid by this project either. Just to clarify, as mentioned, we have invested our own capital, we have secured our own token, and now we are just looking at what happens. So if you want to wait for experiential values first, just wait. We will keep reporting on it, and then we will see if there is a profit or loss in the end. Let's move on to the next project, namely ZigChain, and here you can also see that there has definitely been some ups and downs, especially regarding the last day. But all in all, over the last 7 days, it has been quite negative. Over the last 30 days, of course, drastically. But at this point, please don't let that unsettle you. So I also invested again yesterday. I will invest again today. And I am also not getting the lowest price. So when I think about it, for example, I invested yesterday morning and then came the big Bitcoin correction. Big in quotation marks, but still significant. Interestingly, this did not trigger such a drastic movement in all the small caps. The retail investors are not really in the game yet, but the altcoin season is just around the corner. So it definitely makes sense to have invested a month ago, but in the end, one can still say that the whole thing is completely solid. So here you can also see that the bottom is definitely out, and now we have a sideways movement, but a breakout could definitely happen. If we look at the listings, there are already big ones represented, but not the biggest. And that's perfectly fine. The only thing to keep in mind here is that it is a bit diluted in terms of market cap, because not all tokens are on the market yet. But that's not really a big deal, so you can look at the tokenomics, etc., read through it in detail again, and then see how everything comes together and if it makes sense and so on. As I said, you can go into detail about how vesting phases, logging, and so on are. But now, a few sentences about the actual project. So, ZigChain, as the name suggests, is a layer 1 blockchain, where the main use case, if you will, is in decentralized asset management or generation. And that is indeed quite exciting, because if you look at the target groups, you have on one hand the investors who are supposed to gain access to complex financial services, and asset managers who in turn will have tools for optimizing investment strategies, customer retention, etc. They are supposed to receive that. And on the other hand, developers who will create a platform for innovative applications, high interoperability, etc. So there is already quite a bit on offer, so feel free to take a detailed look at it. There are already several partnerships. So this thing can definitely have potential, even if people always say from the outside that there are already over 800 blockchains. Yes, that's clear, but in the end, it's exactly what Solana did right. They brought users onto the platform, and as a result, the value naturally increases. Let's move on to the next project, namely Pal AI, and indeed, I am not invested there yet. I wanted to invest a few days ago, and on that exact day, it suddenly dropped 60%. I'll see if I can catch the point. Yes, exactly, it was right here. And that was quite a blow. So if we look at it from nearly 4.30 cents, it halved at that exact moment. And now for me, it looks like, okay, the chart looks very unhealthy. What exactly happened there? That also came out relatively soon on X. I looked it up for you. It was supposed to be a combination between Fetch AI, which you probably know, and Palai, and the investors found that anything but cool, which led to many saying, I'm pressing the button, I'm selling now. You can also question that at this point, because for me, I could have bought down there, but I was not into it. Too hot, because I then said, okay, no, I'm not taking that risk. I have no idea if it will ever rise again, whether there was some kind of rug pull or whatever. So you don't know such things in the first step when you look at it from the outside. Maybe it was insider trading as well. You must not forget that there might have been special agreements made and then boom, they bought back in nicely down here. So I would definitely consider it with a certain level of risk. However, I am currently thinking about securing at least a small position for myself because I find the use case very exciting. And you can see that it continues to progress very solidly. Therefore, yes, one should keep an eye on such things. It could very well be that this is a favorable entry point since it was much higher before, and now we just have to wait and see how the project regains the trust of the investors. So here's a brief explanation of what PAL AI actually does. It is a combination of artificial intelligence with blockchain technology, and there are specialized solutions particularly for trading, portfolio management, community engagement on platforms like Telegram, Discord, and others. So that is already a broad spectrum. There are various functions. We are talking about AutoPal X, which is a tool where you can optimize stop loss, limit orders, etc. in trading. PAL as a service is a platform where you can customize AI solutions. Now, various industries, whether we are talking about crypto trading, NFTs, and so on, then there are community integrations and economics. That is what I always suggest as a tip. Take a look at it. So the PAL token itself is issued for staking, for access to advanced platform features, which is always good, and also for governance decisions. So I would say staking, yes, quite nice. Governance, so staking is ultimately inflation governance, also quite great, can be left like that for now. However, if the platform delivers, then there is definitely a reason for many people to hold this token. Let's move on to the next project, namely Tectum. Here too, we are talking about a blockchain. As you can see, hey, if you had added or bought a little yesterday, the price was definitely much lower then. Really hurts to see such increases. On the other hand, if you look at the monthly chart, yes, okay, there was already a correction there, 2021, and that can certainly be worked with, especially when you look at the all-time high here. That looks good. So there is definitely a foundation here as well. Personally, I am not invested yet, but I am currently planning to secure one or another position. Even if you look down here now, wait. Guarding the listings, there is definitely still room for growth. Here too, one can say that regarding circulating supply and total supply, there is no significant dilution of the market cap anymore. Of course, there are still a few tokens, but overall it's in the green area. Briefly about this blockchain, they have specialized in conducting fast and cheap transactions. So the focus is on the so-called soft node technology. And this soft node technology is really exciting because you have, as crazy as it sounds, an immediate change of ownership of cryptocurrencies without an actual transaction taking place. You might be thinking, how is that even possible? I also read through it in detail. If you're interested, write it in the comments and then we'll make a separate video about it. So this soft node is basically nothing more than a digital container, and it contains a certain amount of cryptocurrencies, which is why they often compare it to cash, even though it isn't quite that, but just to summarize. So that means if you have, for example, a €1 bill, you own a fixed value. And that is the similarity to this soft node, which contains a specified amount of cryptocurrency. And it looks like this. So this soft node is first created. For example, you put in 0.1 BTC as an example. Then this soft node is transferred, meaning only the soft node. This container changes ownership. But the cryptocurrency itself does not involve a new transaction. Please don't ask me how this is technically feasible, but apparently, if you look at the chart, this is probably the next level stuff. So yes, jokes aside, if you're interested in going deeper, we can discuss that further. So the verification is done using a QR code. It is definitely interesting. When I look at the transaction costs of Bitcoin and Ethereum, this could indeed be a strong use case. For those who could keep count, we've already gone through the 5, but now there's a bonus from me, and I can tell you this is my personal concern in my portfolio, and I still believe that the AID protocol can really take off. And I'll tell you, no, I didn't catch the best timing. Theoretically, you probably could have done better because I bought yesterday and right now the thing is already almost down 5%. However, if you look at the overall value, it is currently a massive correction phase. But it can be incredibly exciting because especially when no one believes anymore, it becomes interesting that you might place one or another position. So, as I said, I want to explain this to you without bias. I am not paid by the project. I am invested myself. I want to keep it neutral, which I can only do to a certain extent because I say I have a relatively large position in it, but I still believe in it. So we will see. Feel free to write in the comments. Maybe you are invested as well. Now, let me briefly explain why I personally find the AIT protocol so interesting. We can also gladly make a separate video about that. This project is certainly comparable, of course not in size, that is logical, but it is comparable to large projects like, for example, Singularity Net. Fetch AI should definitely ring a bell for you, Ocean Protocol as an example, Cortex and so on. So we are talking here about logical combination of AI and blockchain. However, the focus is quite different. While Singularity, Net, and Fetch AI focus on networks and autonomous agents, AIT protocol distinguishes itself through its emphasis on the direct integration of AI and web applications. And that can be a significant advantage. Moreover, people, don't get me wrong, Singularity could be exciting. Fetch AI is probably even more exciting, but those are already large caps. And we are back to the topic. I definitely prefer to focus on where there is still more potential for X. So yes, we will see. And now one final question for you. There is currently this AI agent hype. Should we highlight some specific projects that are possibly on the verge of breakthrough? So not Fetch AI and the like, but really those that are possibly at the peak of infinity right now. So feel free to write about it in the comments. Otherwise, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like. It should boost the algorithm. And if the discussion should continue, then feel free to join our Telegram group as the exchange is a bit easier there. Link in the description. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, all the best. Bye.